Hello folks, I'm John DeFrees. I'm the systems engineer for HP Software-Defined Storage. Just to give you a little bit of background about myself, I've been with the Hewlett-Packard Company on my first tour of duty for 15 years and actually went to work for a brief period of time with Veeam Backup and Replication. I was the storage architect for the HP Alliance account, combining my knowledge of HP storage with my newfound knowledge of Veeam. I parlayed that into a trip back to Hewlett-Packard, where I'm now working a lot with HP software-defined storage, and in particular, the Veeam integration piece of all this. What we'd like to talk about today, specifically, is the Snapshot integration that Veeam developed back in 2012 for the Store Virtual Left-Hand technology and also for the 3-par StoreServe technology. If you'll notice on the screen, you'll see we have our hypervisor complex there with our virtual machines and our hosts. Below that, we see the 3-par StoreServe and the Store Virtual Architecture, primary, volume, and snapshot. With Veeam, typically you're making a daily backup, and if you need to go make a recovery, you go off to that backup image that you took last night, and you right-click and you get your instant VM recovery, your Exchange item recovery, SharePoint item recovery, Linux file recovery, Windows file recovery. You folks know the drill. Now that's great capability, and we can get that data back really fast from information from last night. Now, by combining Veeam's recovery technology with the HP Snapshot capability for StoreServe left-hand and Store Virtual left-hand and 3-par StoreServe, we can now recover data from primary snapshots that's as fresh as 5 minutes old with 3-par StoreServe or 30 minutes old with Store Virtual left-hand. So what we can do is set a snapshot schedule through the Store Virtual console, Store Virtual VSA console, or for the 3-par StoreServe console. So we go in and we set our snapshot schedule for every 30 minutes, let's just say as an example. We go to our Veeam console and we add our management credentials for the HP Array Management Server. So the server that's running the console, we add those credentials into the Veeam console. What that'll do is basically import the VMFS volumes and their snapshots. And with that capability, we import those VMFS volumes, their snapshots, and the VMs that live upon them. And we can then use Veeam to go in and browse those snapshots and, again, recover data, an entire virtual machine with instant VM recovery. We can recover a Windows file, a Linux file, and again, an Exchange or SharePoint item, and more to come in the future with Veeam, with the Veeam Explorer for SAN snapshots. So the Explorer for SAN snapshots gives us the capability to recover data quickly, which Veeam's always been able to do, but with more recent data. So what we've effectively done here is we've lowered the recovery point objective, or the RPO, down to a matter of minutes. So instead of having to go to last night's backup to recover my data, we go to a snapshot from 5 minutes ago or 30 minutes ago, depending on the storage array that we're using. So when that user calls in a panic that they've deleted the PowerPoint file that they need for the big presentation this afternoon, you can go in and give them a fairly recent copy of that data, and with the Veeam technology, of course, recover it very quickly in a matter of minutes. So that's pretty cool stuff. Now, that was the initial Veeam HP Snapshot integration, to be able to do recovery of copies of your data that's from 5 to 30 minutes old, depending on the technology that you're using. A few months after that capability was announced, Veeam also developed the backup from storage snapshot capability, where Veeam can take the 3-par StoreServe or the Store Virtual left-hand, and that includes Store Virtual VSA snapshots, take those snapshots and automatically clone them and then mount them to the Veeam backup proxy. And by doing that, we can utilize change block tracking, VMware CBT for the backups, and in some extreme cases, increase our backup performance by 10-fold. So where you had maybe an 8-hour backup window yesterday, by using the backup for storage snapshots technology, you can actually cut that down to maybe just a few hours. So very dramatic increases in the backup speed, very dramatic decreases in your backup window. So who doesn't want to do their backups faster? Now, we now have what's starting to look like a really complete puzzle here. We have recovery from our primary storage snapshots for our day-to-day file recovery, or maybe we have a VM that gets a virus or something like that we need to go remediate. So we can do that. We can back up to something like a store once deduplicating backup appliance. Okay, so now we have a copy of our data, we have our original data, we have a copy of data on the snapshot, now we have a daily backup on the store once backup appliance. You may want to take that data and get it off-site, so you can either use the store once replication to replicate that backup repository, or, as you can see here on the slide, you can use the Veeam backup copy job and take your Veeam backup image that lives on that store once deduplication appliance and have it automatically copied in your Veeam job down to store ever tape. So now you can take store ever tape and get your data off-site. So we can get data off-site either through the store once replication of that CIF share repository that you're putting your Veeam backups image in. So take that store once repository in one location, replicate it off to another. And that might be a store once VSA in a remote location to a big store once appliance in a central location. Then we get the data. Another way to get the data off-site, everybody's got a tape drive, so we can take the Veeam backup copy job again and copy that backup image off to store ever tape. So now we have a very, very complete data protection picture here, and we can follow Veeam's 3-2-1 rule of 3 copies of your data, 2 of them, 1 copy off-site, 2 copies locally. So now we're protected from local disasters and also maybe more regionalized disasters, depending upon your DR plan.